My name is Carlito, and I'm not an ex-young lord. I'm a young lord. Okay, till this day. And I don't get I'm not trying to get celebrity status. My celebrity status is fighting for the liberation of Puerto Rico. Fighting against these racist cops that are shooting our people every day. If there is a way to pay homage to Nelson Ramirez, it's for us to start reflecting what was it that made Nelson tick? What was it that Nelson strived for? And that is what we have to emulate. We have to emulate that spirit. The Ponce Massacre reflects many things. La Masacre de Ponce is merely a reason to remember why is it that we have to fight. The Ponce Massacre also reminds us that we are not alone in the tragedies that are brought to us by U.S. imperialism. Let's not forget what happened at Wounded Knee, where hundreds of Native American children and women were massacred, and before that they were raped. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget what happened in the Philippines, where U.S. soldiers butchered 1 million Filipinos. That's right, 1 million Filipinos were murdered by the U.S. colonizers. Let's not forget what happened in Vietnam. My Lai Massacre. That's right, the same colonizers of Puerto Rico are remembered also for what they did in Vietnam. So when we talk about tragedies that occurred to our nation, let's always be optimistic, because we're not alone in the world. If there is anything that the U.S. colonizers have succeeded in doing, is bringing enemies upon themselves. Look what happened on January 6th. The chickens came home to roost. Okay? What happened in the Capitol was a sign of the cancer that they have right now, because they are not at peace with themselves. When we talk about the fight, of course right now they have the strength, they have the organization, they have the sophistication. But poor and oppressed people also have the ability to build a movement once again. We have the power to be able to fight back. Okay, they are not invincible. No imperial empire in history has ever been invincible. And on that note, we can say that our struggle is inevitably destined to succeed. And we will have a Puerto Rico libre. And on that note, thank you.
That was discovered in the 1960s is that those excesses the excesses of narrow nationalism, for the most part, are created by white supremacy. You know, they like instilled divisions against to divide black and brown people. Because if you go back in history, if you go back in the history of slavery in the United States, African American slaves found refuge amongst Mexicans, It's believed that a quarter of the people, of the African Americans that escaped, went to Mexico. And if you go to Mexico, there are many communities there that are black, and they are descendants of the of escaped slaves. If you go to Florida, you'll find remnants of the African Americans that escaped to Florida, the Maroons. Okay, the Maroons were they were embraced by Native Americans. When Puerto Ricans migrated to the United States, we migrated also into the Civil Rights Movement. Okay, because where did we go? We went into the black neighborhoods. Okay, and it was with African Americans that we used to go to dances together. I learned how to dance with Motown. Okay, and when I started going to the salsa clubs, I saw African Americans dancing salsa. Okay, let's not forget.
Cross-pollination going on.
Exactly. There was an acculturation. Then this art form came out, Boogaloo. Boogaloo music, which was the predecessor of salsa. Boogaloo was influenced by the bebop, by the doo-wops, by Motown. Okay, and that was the African American influence in salsa. In fact, salsa was born in the United States, and it was greatly influenced not only by those genres, but by African American jazz.
Now, what do you say to the brothers and sisters that are Latino that say, man, we don't got time to mess with these black people, that's their struggle, we got our own struggle? Or the black people that say, man, we ain't got time to mess with them Latinos, they don't mess with us, we don't mess with them, we're gonna deal with our struggle. How do we have a historical precedent for that type of solidarity?
I come across that every day, my brother, and I tell Latinos that take that indifference with the plight of black people. I tell them they call you nigga too. Okay, I tell African Americans that they come off with Latins. They call you a spicosa. They put us all in the same bag. Because historically in the United States there have been only two poles, and everyone who comes to this country gravitates to one or the other. And what are those two poles? Blackness and whiteness. It's a phenomenon that's unique in the capitalist development of the United States. It's very unique. And it has to do with the fact that, African American slavery, chattel slavery, was most lucrative in this country, in the United States. It was most lucrative. So therefore, the development of white supremacy, which was in the United States, it developed this phenomenon that forced people to be pro or con black. Okay? And it's such an intense phenomenon that if you look at American history, that is black history, if you look at the history of the United States, it's the only place where you had blacks that owned blacks. Okay? Louisiana. It was so disgusting, so entrenched, that during the Civil War, you had units in the Confederate Army that were black units in the Confederate Army, defending the Confederacy, defending the system of slavery. If that doesn't sound freaking enough to you, then I don't know what else would. But then again, if you look at today, you look at the police, you have black and Latino cops. And it was the greatest invention since the whip. Because now they put people who look like us to shoot us and to incarcerate us. I was a member of the Young Lords. It was an entity in the 1960s and 70s that was inspired by the Black Panther Party. And in Chicago, Fred Hampton was working very closely with cliques, the so-called gangs. And where he succeeded the most was with the Puerto Rican clique known as the Young Lords. And what I mean by succeeded, they transcended from being a gangbang gang into a political entity.
A revolutionary formation.
Revolutionary organization. And when it spread in regions where there was large concentrations of Puerto Ricans, that's where chapters were formed. When a chapter was formed in New York City, that was a no-brainer for me. And at the age of 14, I joined the Young Lords.
Oh, you're almost like a Jamal Joseph.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Or a Charles Barron.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. Charles Barron was the same age when he joined the Black
he was
Panther.
pretty young too.
Oh yeah. Well,
Okay.
the average age in the Black Panther Party and in the Young Lords was 17, 18.
Wow. Okay.
That was the average age. And usually, if you were 21 or over, you're considered old person.